This is it's a dark noirish film, long haul to get made. I always like to hear what that one thing was that kept you saying, I got to make this movie.
I think it was the challenge. I wish I had something like, it's the story of my life, and it's my dad died, and this is to carry his spirit, but it isn't. It isn't. It's just,
It could have been this. It could have been anything.
No. I think it was just the challenge. It was just the rejection for so long. It was, and there's something kind of awesome about coming back and seeing investors and people that passed on the movie for years and years. Like, hey man, can we come to your party after the show? There's something.
So it's really spectacular.
I think that's pretty much the baseline motivation of everybody here.
Everyone's
is to say fuck you to somebody.
Yeah.
Not really.
Well,
Maybe
Michael,
sort of.
what attracted you? So many of the characters you tend to choose are very conflicted
Right.
characters. What is it about this role, and why that sort of person? Why is that interesting?
Well, I guess it is a dark story, but as far as the role goes, I actually thought it was a bit of a departure from certainly Dexter, in that he's not uniquely afflicted or capable or anything. He's just a regular guy to whom and around whom really crazy things are happening. And that appealed to me. And I also I love the story. I love the unexpected turns it takes, the execution of the script that these two wrote, and I was really, taken with Jim's previous work, so it was kind of a no-brainer for me.
You guys straddle genre to some. Tell me about that and how you found a balance and make it into one cohesive thing, so an audience goes with you. There are expectations audiences have.
Yeah. I think the big thing was anchoring it on Michael's character, because it's really, there's a lot of movie in here, and there's a lot of different stories, there's a lot of different tones and genres and humor mixed with dark, and I love that, and that was a big part of the charm of the story, I think. But I think a lot of it became, we still want the audience to relate to this, and so if Michael is sort of the window into this world that we can see this, I think, then everyone can connect to it in a way. I think a nimble actor like Michael can make that happen, and not just sit around and look wide-eyed. Nimble. I've used better adjectives.
I like nimble.
Nimble.
Nimble, yeah.
That's a cool word.
Well, tell me, give briefly what the story is, so we have a little context, and then what he told you that helped you find that balance.
It's a story of a guy who wakes up to find a burglar in his living room. He shoots the guy accidentally, kills him, and then soon runs into the dead guy's father, who's Sam Shepard, who comes vowing for revenge. And right when you think like this is the coolest movie ever, it sort of becomes 2 or 3 more movies after that, and it kind of keeps turning on itself. So I'll be vague about the rest of it, but. These guys come into play as well in unexpected ways.
Violence begets violence.
Violence begets violence, and also, it's based on a Joe Lansdale novel, and he has this uncanny ability to be able to just weave these these completely disparate storylines and themes and characters all together in a way that totally feels like, yes, that's exactly what needed to happen, in a way that, I don't really see anybody else doing, and so it felt like a cool opportunity to kind of try to do the cinematic version of that.
It's a very testosterone-driven story. How did you find your place within this?
Well, Jim and I talked about it a little because in the actual novel, Lansdale novel, she's kind of like this cantankerous lady who has her opinions on how things should be run, and so I feel like, and I read the novel too, and so she's in the film. Anne is much more kind of involved in like the unfolding of the story, obviously from the very beginning, and she's almost protective of her family, in making sure that the family stays together, and that we save face in the community, and it's very important. She's a religious woman, and she wants everything to stay the same, and so when he decides to go nutso, it rattles her, but it's not in the way where she has an opinion about what she should do every couple pages.
Right.
So it definitely changed from the novel to the film.
how did you guys work? I mean, I kind of want to say you're used to going to some pretty dark places, but you know, how did you work together to get there, or you just go now?
Well, I mean, this is not this isn't a guy who has an inherent darkness.
Right.
There's an inherent darkness to this story and the characters that he is coming into contact with. But he's, I don't know. It has such a thrust, like forward momentum. This script, and once you just jump on for the ride, it's kind of there to take you.
Did he communicate to you guys at all the visual style he was going for, and do you have that in the back of your mind?
Joe? No, he was. I mean, he's much more story-oriented, character-oriented, tone-oriented. You know, I mean, he wants things to be authentic, as we all do. You know, we shot in upstate New York, which is weird because the movie's set in East Texas. You know, but you know, he was there for a couple weeks. You know, and he was very sweet to say, like, you know, you guys are the filmmakers, I'm the writer, I'm here. If you want my advice, I'm happy to, you know, come and seek it. You know, but he wouldn't force anything. Yeah, I know.
You went for this is a very specific place and time, right? Texas 1989, right? I mean, how do you start creating the wardrobe? So do you find your character through, how much of that stuff do you start building the physicalities to find your characters? I mean, you know, jeans alone.
Yeah, mom jeans alone, yeah. I just jumped in. I mean, I find, through reading the script, you know, she's definitely like an independent woman, in a time where it was kind of like, you know, the liberation of women in many ways, but still she's a conservative one, you know, all in all. So my clothes had to like reflect that in many ways, and so I went into that world of big bad hair and bad jeans.
Vanessa threw herself into it.
I took the acid wash kind of light jean thing was helpful.
Do those physicalities help you as well? Not just wardrobe, but I mean the way you hold yourself. All of your characters are very different.
Yeah, I think the way he moved was informed by the clothes I put on, for sure. You know, it's 1989, but this is a guy who's a young father, young kid. They don't have a whole lot of money, so I imagine his clothes are more from like 82, you know, and but just the short sleeve button down shirts with ties that don't quite match and attempt to be kind of his own man, but also the boss, and it all informed who he was and how I moved. And I mean, really, the performance was, I was just there. The performance really had everything to do with the mullet.
Which I think you brought yourself. Was that
yeah, I had somebody make me a little, because I didn't have time to grow it as long as I wanted it to be. So he made a little thing that I attached to the back, and I tell you, I mean, it was kind of a last minute thought, but man, I don't know what I would have done without it.
Yeah, I know. It changed. I mean, it changed because it also was it was sort of unlocked the door to not just you, but to everything in the movie. It was kind of like, all right, if we're gonna make a movie with a guy that's got a mullet hairpiece, it informs every decision stylistically going forward.
It somehow it held a lot of power.
Yeah.
And it was nice to kiss him with the hair.
Yeah.
something to grab onto?
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys so much for
Yeah, I know it's tempting, but don't grab too hard.
Cold in July at Sundance. Thank you guys. Good luck this week.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Bye.